want to do this tour or the next one, which will be in the hour, the next later. 89, so that would have been laid somewhere down here as part of this line. Before that, there was an Anglo-Saxon minster here. So it's been a place of worship here for a very long time. And who knows, before that, there may have been a pagan site here as well. So it was a place of worship for a very long time. I love the Hwicce. This is one of the little chapels. These new batteries. And you can see here some nice arches, long arches here. There would have been a bench there. And so if the monks were waiting to take Mass, that's where they would have sat. They would have sat there. And there's some nice Norman decoration. Norman decoration in this cathedral is quite lumpy. That's a sort of a peaks, a bit like Toblerone shape. And there we have some decoration there on the capitol. There's a little alcove here which would have been used in the communion service. Yes, do come in if you want to come in and have a look. And that would have been where they would have kept the bread and the wine for the service. And you can see we've got a nice lot of daylight down here. It wouldn't have been so heavily grilled, if you like, you can use that word, barriered outside. There would have been more light coming in. We have to do that because of, in case anyone decides they want to break the windows. And the altar here. Now, it's thought that this chapel, my voice failing, it would have been painted. It would have been lime washed. And they would have painted on these stones with red, as it is here. Now that would have the effect of looking as if the stones were all of equal size and shape, which meant they were all worked by a mason. But as you can see, they're not. They're a bit all over the place. So it would have had a much more expensive look than it has now, or sumptuous look. Than it has now. There would have been a lot of colour. So mind the step as you come down. So here we have the elephant in the room. We had a makeover in Victorian times by Sir Gilbert Scott. Sir Gilbert Scott, who loved the Gothic, and he did some Pancras station. Just wonderful. And he created this font. It's down here because it doesn't really fit in with the stone of the cathedral. This is granite. And it's rather lumpy. It's here. So it's down here because it doesn't really fit in with the cathedral above. It's in pieces, that's how it came down here. There's a light in it, it's sort of streaming through there. So it would have been very light here because this all went out some Anglo-Saxon decoration, which is much finer. Another little chapel. As I say, there were 5 going all the way round. And this has got some lime wash on, which makes really quite a difference. And you can see the decoration on the capitol is different again. They're different in each chapel. There would have been an altar there. We're coming up to the east end now, so we've got the east window above us. I don't like to think about it too much. It's used quite a lot for filming down here. Netflix have used it for The White Princess, the Spanish princess. And Doctor Who, Christmas special, when David Tennant was Doctor Who first. Procession, it was really part of their worship almost. So if a monk died, they would bring him through the nave, he would come down the steps, not the steps we use, the steps would have been on the north aisle, and they were filled in the 1700s, long time ago. So they'd bring it down, they'd process around the crypt, and then they would bring the body into here. Just in a shroud. Monks, it was only the rich who had coffins, and the monks had shrouds. There was a rule that no monk should mourn the death of another monk, because it was thought if you mourned the death, you would stop the soul going to heaven. These beliefs were very real, you know, in a secular age where we have so much information, so much misinformation as well, that it's difficult to go back to those times where almost everyone believed, because heaven and hell was writ large on the walls, on the wall paintings that were eventually painted out. But it was all what would happen to you if you led a dissolute or a sinful life was writ large up in the abbey. It's thought this may have been the abbot's own chapel, because the decoration here is more elaborate. You've got more vaulting and you've got lovely bosses, or remains of bosses. There would have been a window there. These are central heating pipes. As I say, things done in previous decades you perhaps wouldn't do now. There would have been a window there, there would have been an altar here. And again, the little piscina, as they're called, there, where the communion things would have been stored. It's shaped like that. We know it was a very hefty door, because those are the hinges, huge hinges, fingers right in there. But we don't know why it was hewn out in that way. It wasn't done the other side. You can't go through if you were having something large to go through. But there are recesses behind each of this wall and this wall. There are recesses. It may have been used for storage. They wouldn't have stored any documents down here, because they weren't daft. They knew it was damp. Yes, exactly. So it may have been gold, it may have been silver. We just don't know. So we're going through, and shiered man. Now, is he Norman or is he Anglo-Saxon? The best record we have is the Bio Tapestry. And in the Bio Tapestry, the Normans are shown clean-shaven and the backs of their heads shaved. Anglo-Saxons shown with hair down to their collars and facial hair. Oh, that's easy then, that's fine. He's Anglo-Saxon. Yeah, if only life was so easy. Rouen Cathedral found some coinage of William Rufus. William Rufus came after William the Conqueror. He was extremely poor and a very, very bad and a very unliked king. And he is shown on this coinage that was found at Rouen Cathedral with a moustache like that. Now, I like to think he's Anglo-Saxon. That's my Celtic Welsh heritage, really. I like to think he's Anglo-Saxon. And to back it up, over here we have lovely Celtic designs. Now, I mentioned earlier on about there being a minster here and no trace has been found of it. Some experts believe these columns may have come from the minster, but there's no way of knowing. You can date the stone, but it doesn't tell you where it was. So I like to think this is an Anglo-Saxon who put his mark there, his selfie on a Friday afternoon when the Normans had all gone home, and to go and coincide with the Anglo-Saxon decoration. Pure conjecture. thought that it may have been just to let them outside into the garden. But no, they're all over the place, the little doors, and we really don't know what. Charles, at his recent coronation, but we've seen this coronation chair in use. During World War II, at the beginning of World War II, the coronation chair was brought from Westminster and was stored down here. And Robert, Duke of Normandy, you may have seen his effigy, the man lying down with his legs crossed like that. He also came down here. He was the eldest son of William the Conqueror, who never became our king. William the Conqueror left the throne of England to William Rufus, the middle son, who was extremely poor king. And he met with an end in the New Forest in a hunting accident, invited by his younger brother Henry. But if you read the account of it, it wasn't.